If you've got thick mucus at the back of your throat and you're clearing your throat about 50 times a day, and the doctors are just telling you it's probably allergies, they're looking at the wrong end of your body. This isn't a sinus problem, this is a gut problem. And if you have a hiatal hernia, this connection could be the missing piece of the puzzle. Almost nobody is connecting these two things, and I'm going to show you exactly how they're linked. The mucus isn't the enemy. It's actually protecting you from what's happening way further down here in your stomach and in your gut. I'm a pharmacist. I spent years standing behind a counter handing out band-aid solutions to treat this problem. And then I was diagnosed with a hiatal hernia. I had loads of reflux, I had the throat mucus, and I had something that I never in a million years would have thought that it would have connected to all these other things, my asthma. I spent years using asthma pumps, nasal rinses, antihistamines, and none of it was really helping me because I was treating the smoke and I was ignoring the fire. I've lived this and I've healed it in my own body, and now I do it for a living with my clients. So here's what we're covering in this video. I'll explain the connection that ties your throat, your gut, and your lungs into one single problem. And then I'll explain the food mistake that you think is making things better, but it's actually making things worse. And finally, I'll give you the exact reset that turns this all around. But let's start with what's happening over here. Your diaphragm is a big dome-shaped muscle that separates your chest from your stomach. There's a small opening in it where your esophagus passes through. And right at that junction is a valve, a muscular ring, and its only job is to stay shut, to keep the contents of your stomach below the diaphragm. Now, when you have a hiatal hernia, part of your stomach pushes up through that opening in your chest, putting a lot of pressure on the valve so the valve can't seal properly. Now, here's the part that connects that straight to your throat. When that valve is open, stomach contents go up through your chest, showing up as heartburn. Some people don't even feel the sensation of heartburn because there's a certain amount of mucus that builds up here too. But instead, tiny amounts of food and liquid and enzymes and acid all moves up past your chest area and into the throat tissue and into your voice box. And this usually happens while you're sleeping. But your throat tissue is very delicate and it's not meant to handle the pH of stomach acid, enzymes, and everything else that you've brought up. So the moment that contents touches this area, your throat and your body does the best thing it knows what to do. It floods the area with a thick protective mucus, and that's the sticky coating that you wake up with every morning. It's not random, it's a protective response. And this is very common in silent reflux or LPR, laryngopharyngeal reflux. It's this missed explanation of why you have a buildup of throat mucus. And if your doctor has picked up that you have reflux, the only thing you've been offered is a PPI, an antacid medication, and it's not really helping. So you need to take the pressure off, move things back into the right place, and the reflux will stop. And when the reflux stops, the mucus production stops. But this is where it gets really interesting because there's a reason why some people that don't have a hiatal hernia are still producing loads of mucus in their throat. And they have a tight chest and wheezing and that constant coughing. And it comes down to something that almost nobody is talking about: the conversation between your gut and your lungs. So here's the reframe that changes everything. Your gut and your airways, meaning your sinuses and your lungs, are not separate systems, and they are in constant conversation using your immune system. And scientists call this the gut-lung axis. When the bacteria in your gut goes out of balance and you have dysbiosis, your gut starts firing off inflammation signals, and your airways respond to those inflammation signals with the only way they know how. More mucus, more reactive, more inflammation. And this is the part that blows me away because for years I had asthma. As an adult, it definitely quietened down, but I would still have the occasional asthma attacks if I exercised, if I went away to a new location, and if I got sick. If I got a cold or a flu, my chest would close up immediately and I'd have an asthma attack. Now here's what I didn't see coming. When I healed my gut and I managed to bring down my hiatal hernia, I got rid of the reflux, the dysbiosis, I dealt with the whole gut problem. My asthma went away, not managed, disappeared. I don't carry an inhaler with me anymore. The link between the gut and the lungs is real, and it's honestly under-researched. And I believe that if we treated lung conditions with gut health, and we improve people's gut, we could change people's lung health in ways that I think medicine hasn't even caught up to yet. So here's why this matters for you. If you've got throat mucus and the tight chest and a bit of a wheeze and a cough that never tends to go away, they're one problem showing up in 3 different areas. Dysbiosis in your gut, the gut-lung axis, and your nervous system through the gut-brain axis. And the shared root cause is your gut, which means you don't have to treat them and change them all at different times, playing whack-a-mole with your symptoms for years. You just go to the root cause and you address it there. And that root cause has a switch on it. And that switch, for the kind of person that I think you are, is almost always flipped the wrong way. Your gut is controlled by your nervous system. And your nervous system has 2 settings. Fight and flight, where you're stressed and it's all go, go, go. And then rest and digest. And here's the thing that most people never get told. Your gut heals and truly digests when you're in rest and digest. Your body doesn't repair itself when it thinks that you're under threat. So be honest with yourself for a second. You're driven, you're hustling, you're up early, you're probably the one that everyone depends on. You're running on adrenaline and coffee, and you're living in fight and flight most of your waking day. And I get it, that drive is what makes you good at what you do, but your body is quietly paying the price. When you're stuck in the stress state, digestion just is not a priority. And the pressure in your abdomen keeps climbing and pushes up your stomach further, causing the hernia, dysbiosis in your gut, and body inflammation. And this is why the stressed out, always on business owner is often the same person that is lying awake at night with reflux, burning the back of their throat, and waking up with that thick mucus glob in the morning. It's really not a coincidence. Your symptoms and your ambition are part of the same system. So calming down your nervous system is not something that's nice to have. It's not a bubble bath. For you, it's the highest leverage move you can make on the board. It's also the necessary step you must take in order to properly digest your food. Which brings me to the mistake I see the most. And it's a nasty one because it makes you feel like you're healing, but it's quietly keeping you stuck. I call it the elimination trap. Because here's what everyone does. You notice that certain foods make your symptoms worse. So you cut them out. Dairy, gluten, wheat, whole food groups. But before long, you're living off of 5 safe foods, quietly afraid of eating anything else. And you're convinced you're healing because your symptoms have quietened down. But here's what's happening under the hood. Every food you cut, you're also cutting out fuel for a whole wide population of good bacteria that's trying to flourish inside your gut. And the single most important marker for gut health, the thing that reverses dysbiosis for the long haul, is diet diversity. Lots of different bacteria being fed by lots of different food. So the more you strip your diet down, the more you shrink your gut's diversity and the more fragile and reactive it becomes. You might feel calmer today, but you're getting weaker underneath. And that's the trap. Now, I'm not telling you you have to go and eat lots of different things from tomorrow. There is absolutely a place for a strict elimination window in the beginning. You need to pull the big triggers out and bring the inflammation down and give yourself some real relief. But that window is a phase. It's not a home. And the goal was never to live on an elimination diet. The goal is to have the widest diet that your gut can handle, slowly and deliberately adding food back in, rebuilding that diversity until you're eating a huge range of whole foods again and your gut is strong enough to digest it. Because look at the 2 different routes. Restriction gets you comfortable and stuck. Diversity gets you free. And that's the entire point. Being able to sit down at a client dinner, order what you actually want to eat, and not spend the next 3 hours managing your throat and worrying about your bloated belly. So how do you do all this? The repositioning, the gut, the nervous system work, without turning all of these things into a second full-time job. And that's where the reset comes in. There are 4 levers in the reset and they work together. A short morning routine that physically helps pull down your hernia, helps reposition your stomach, and get your diaphragm moving again so that you can take the pressure off your valve and strengthen it. Number 2, healing the tissue, killing off the pepsin in your throat and rebuilding your gut lining. Number 3, the diet shift we just covered. A strict window first to reset your body and bring down your inflammation, and then deliberately widening back out to rebuild diversity with foods that truly make a difference. Foods that are designed to multiply the good bacteria, the bacteria that fights body inflammation and produces things like short-chain fatty acids. And number 4, daily nervous system work, so that your body gets used to spending more of its time in rest and digest and less time in fight and flight. And most importantly, tracking it all so that you're watching the needle move so that you can see there's a difference. You can start the morning routine tomorrow and feel genuine relief in a couple of weeks, days even. But truly healing the gut dysbiosis, the real root cause sitting underneath this all, that's the long game. That's months of consistently doing the right things in the right order while you rebuild your gut. And this is exactly where most people fall down. Not because they can't do the work, but because they're doing it alone with no structure and no way of knowing if things are actually working or moving in the right direction. So they lose faith, they quit, they change plans constantly. And that's the reason I built my program, Rise. It gives the root causes, the structure, the sequence, and the tracking that keeps you in line during the strict phase and into rebuilding your gut diversity while we regulate your nervous system the whole way through. So you're not guessing, you're following a system and watching the proofs stack up week by week. So if you've been stuck on this and you're done managing it and you want to heal, this is exactly what I'm here for. There is a link below to book a call with me. We'll build a plan together that gets you out of this. So let's quickly do a recap on today. That mucus in your throat is trying to protect you from the content in your stomach that is coming up because your stomach is sitting in the wrong place and a valve that is faulty. And underneath all of that, it's driven by a gut that is out of balance, sending out inflammatory signals to your lungs and to your throat, while a stressed out nervous system holds the whole thing together. And that's why the PPI and the meds never really worked, because they weren't aimed at the right cause. And here's the thing I want you to most walk away with today. Healing isn't just a switch you flick on. It's a slope that you climb. I was massively better after a year of healing. Better again the year after that. And honestly, 5 or 6 years on, I'm still improving. You've simply never been shown what real healing looks like. And that's all that is. And the moment that you see it, you'll realize that you never really were stuck. You just needed a roadmap. So let's build yours.